So, you're reading a cozy mystery and you didn't even know it? Hi, I'm author Ellie Alexander, and I am thrilled, as always, to spend some time with you. This week on My Favorite Reads, I'm going to give you a primer on the cozy mystery. What is it and why you should read this mysterious genre? Stay tuned. Thank you so much for joining me. I know that many of you are reading more while we are at home together, and I have received a number of emails over the last few weeks from readers saying things like, I didn't even know I was reading a cozy, or what is a cozy? I thought this would be a great opportunity to tell you from my perspective as a cozy mystery writer what the genre is and why I think it makes for great reading anytime, but especially now. Okay, so first, here are the key things that make a mystery a cozy, in my humble opinion. Are you ready? Number one, cozies tend to take place in a small town or village. For example, in my BAKESHOP mysteries, they take place in Ashland, Oregon, a charming Shakespearean hamlet nestled in the Siskiyou Mountains. Or in my SLOAN KRAUSE mysteries, they take place in the Bavarian village of Leavenworth, Washington, with a total population of, wait for it, 2,000 people. The genre got its start in England thanks to the great dame Agatha Christie, and there is nothing as quaint or idyllic as the English countryside for murder. That's what makes the setting so unique. You take a beautiful or a pastoral setting and toss in a murder to shake up the mix. Now, not all cozies take place in a tiny town. Some writers, myself included, will carve out a neighborhood or a borough within a larger city. In my Pacific Northwest and my Rose City Mysteries, for example, I use Portland, Oregon as the backdrop for the scene of the crime or the scene of the climb, dun dun dun. But I create a small town feeling within a bigger city. Okay, number two, the murder in a cozy mystery tends to take place off screen. When I'm giving book talks, I often say that the cozy is the opposite of CSI. There's no gratuitous violence. You're not going to read about blood splatter patterns or forensic evidence. Yes, there is going to be a body. Someone is going to die. Usually that's a character that has villainous tendencies, although not always. But the focus is about the mystery. You, the reader, have the same opportunity as the sleuth to piece together all the clues and figure out who done it. Hopefully, if we've done our jobs as authors, you'll get taken down a few dead ends in the form of red herrings that are meant to distract you from solving the puzzle too soon. We're going to talk in a minute about why I think this is one of the key reasons cozies make great reading. But we'll move on to number three. The next thing that differentiates the cozy is the protagonist. Again, like with the murder itself, you won't find a hard-boiled detective or a career law enforcement officer or a crime scene investigator solving the case. You'll find a novice like me or like you on the case. You have to suspend some belief. Okay, maybe a lot of belief sometimes when reading the genre, because what is the likelihood that a chief of police is going to invite a pastry chef, a craft brewer, an outdoor journalist, or a florist onto a crime scene? I'm going to say highly unlikely. That's what sets the cozy apart. They feature an amateur sleuth going about their everyday business and, of course, stumbling upon murder. All right, number four. The last thing that separates the genre is that many cozy mysteries offer readers a bonus. Those amateur sleuths we just discovered have very rich lives when they aren't solving murders. This isn't true for every book within the genre, but many cozies give readers special add-ons like recipes, hiking and adventure guides, floral designs, and tips. The list goes on and on. If you have an interest or a hobby, you can probably find a cozy mystery series centered around that hobby. Crafting, knitting, gardening, antiquing, brewing, baking, the possibilities are endless. Okay, now that you have a little primer on what the cozy is, here are the reasons why I think they resonate so well with readers and make for perfect escapism reading right now. Number one, they're so fluffy. You know what that's from, right? Sometimes cozy mysteries get a bad rap for being too light or fluffy. Readers complain that they're not dark enough or gritty. And I understand that feedback, but let's face it, our world outside our reading windows can be pretty dark and grim. There are certainly times in my life when I'm drawn to wanting to read weightier books. But reading can provide a wonderful escape, and I think that is the ultimate gift of the cozy. If you pick up a book titled Death on Tap or Live and Let Pie, you can probably assume you're not about to dive into a deep descent of madness or read about a serial killer. Unless we flip that title to serial killer. See what I did there? Okay, I've told this story before, but I think it's worth repeating. I've always enjoyed cozy mysteries since childhood, but I never imagined that I would write one, let alone multiple series. For many years, I was writing very serious nonfiction. I wrote a memoir about losing my mom to young onset Alzheimer's. I wrote a number of columns and freelance pieces for magazines and newspapers. And in the back of my mind, I kept hearing my inner voice tapping on my shoulder saying, "You should write a cozy." And I kept silencing that voice. I told myself I couldn't write something that was light and fluffy when my career had been focused on doing serious work in the world. And one day I was out for a walk with a dear friend and I was lamenting about wanting to write a cozy. And she said something that immediately resonated and totally flipped the switch for me. Her mom was in the hospital with cancer and she said, "When I'm sitting by my mom's bedside, I just want a light escape. I don't need to read anything heavy. I'm living that. I want to read something that takes me out of that hospital room." Those words stuck and have stayed with me ever since. Whenever I sit down to write a book, I start with that intention, that whatever I put on the page will hopefully provide a little reprieve for you. Okay, number two, the second reason I think you should read a cozy mystery is because they make your brain work. It's true. They might be light, but if done right, they are the ultimate puzzle for your brain. Remember how we talked about clues and red herrings? You, as the reader, are part of the mystery and you can actually solve the mystery. I mean, think about that. That's so cool. If you put your little gray cells to the test, use some discernment and backtrack if you get led astray, you can catch a killer. I think that's super rewarding and it's a perfect distraction. You have to pay attention when you're reading a cozy, which means you're much less likely to get sucked into worry and negativity. So crack open a cozy mystery and put those gray cells to the test. All right, number three, last, and perhaps the most important reason to read a cozy is because they offer closure. The genre follows a format. We start with a murder that rocks our sweet little village to the core. The protagonist and the community come together to bring justice to their world. In the end, that actually happens. A killer is caught, put behind bars, and peace is restored. Cozies are the ultimate fairy tales. We don't always get happy endings in life, but we do in the cozy. And there's such comfort in that. Something horrible happens, we come together, and at the end of the day, everything is made right again. In a broader lens, I think about how that approach plays out in my own life. When I start to feel overwhelmed by the scope of what we're experiencing as a global community in this moment, I can really spin out of control. But when I stop and breathe, I remember that what I can change is this space right here around me. If we all do that, if we focus on our community around us and just think of the impact that can make. So really what I'm trying to say is that cozy mysteries can change the world. Are you with me? Okay, that's my take on the cozy mystery. I want to hear from you. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Are there other reasons you read the genre? Next time I'm going to share some of my favorite British cozies, but in the meantime, I'd love to hear some of your favorite series. As always, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the bell to get notified whenever I share new videos. Happy reading!